First tonight, a teenager's brush with meningococcal, how paramedics may have saved his life. Job cuts at BETFAIR, a Tasmanian centre set for closure. Trouble for new mental health care beds, a redevelopment hits a snag. Strawberry sabotage investigations continue as the scandal spreads to more fruit. Macquarie Point on the move, a solution to a major development hurdle. And stealing the show at the Emmys, a Tasmanian comedian's starring role.
Live from our Tasmanian headquarters, this is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. A 15-year-old Launceston boy has described the moment he was rushed to hospital after contracting the potentially deadly meningococcal disease last week. Alex Beaumont is praising the quick actions of paramedics for administering life-saving antibiotics. The case comes as Public Health expands free vaccination clinics for other strains across the state.
Recovering now, but a week ago, 15-year-old Alex Beaumont had a close brush with a serious disease. It was an ordinary day at school when the Year 9 student began feeling unwell.
I called Mum. Mum's taken me home. Then got worse. I'm shaking at this point. I can't stop shaking and I'm very tired, sleepy, nauseous.
After a night in hospital, he went home, only to be urgently called back a day later. Doctors confirmed he was Tasmania's 9th case of meningococcal disease this year.
I was very scared. I knew there was something wrong. I'd never been that sick before in my life.
Mum Rebecca was frightened as soon as she heard the diagnosis.
I was just stunned, but at that stage I knew he was with some really good health professionals and I just had to be strong for Alex. I didn't want to let him see how scared I was.
Alex had been given the ACWY vaccine, but contracted the B strain. He's thankful paramedics acted fast to give him antibiotics.
I'm so thankful for him. He had to make a judgment call to say, yes, he needs the antibiotics. We're going to treat this as if he has meningococcal because he wasn't going to take any risks.
For other concerned parents, Public Health Services today announced extra dates for free ACWY vaccination clinics in Launceston, Devonport and Burnie next month.
We'd like to see as many vaccinations as possible. These clinics have been announced so that we can provide an opportunity for any eligible Tasmanian who hasn't yet received a free meningococcal ACWY vaccine to receive one over the coming month in October.
As for Alex, he's doing his best to keep up with schoolwork from home, under the watchful eye of his mother. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
35 Tasmanians are set to lose their current jobs, with online gambling company BETFAIR closing its Hobart office. The company has told staff at its Technopark site that all local roles will be moved to Melbourne. They've been given the choice to move or take a redundancy. The roles will include human resources, call centre, racing integrity and sales staff. While a timeline on the move has not yet been announced, the aim is to make national operations more streamlined. The government has revealed 10 much-needed mental health beds scheduled to open in Hobart may not be delivered as originally planned. The news comes as beds are in significant demand, with some people seeking treatment left waiting for days in the Royal Hobart Hospital Emergency Department.
More than 100 hours in the emergency department and still waiting for a bed on the mental health ward.
There's just not the space to help us when we need it. Just help, give us space. I'm sure there's something they can do.
Yesterday, senior clinicians were forced to apologise, saying it was unacceptable. But this afternoon, the man who doesn't wish to be named was still waiting.
It will definitely make me second guess coming in when I feel as bad as what I do now.
Then in Parliament, questions raised over the redevelopment of Hobart's Peacock Centre mental health facility, which was burnt down almost 2 years ago and has not been rebuilt. And it was revealed the government is also facing problems rolling out 10 new beds at another facility.
I don't promise that the beds will be provided at Mistral Place specifically. Right. If an alternative is required, we will source that. and advice is currently being prepared to support that.
There are other facilities around that the government could be taking advantage of and using that would require far less work and would be able to be delivered in a much more timely manner.
The Health Minister saying the government was taking action.
We are building 33 more mental health beds on site at the Royal Hobart Hospital. We're in our final year and we're damn proud of the work that our people have done.
But experts are demanding a more holistic approach.
There are so many things that we can actually do for people when we recognise that they might be becoming unwell. If we can make sure that the supports are available to them earlier, we could actually avoid the chance of them perhaps needing hospital completely.
Parliament resumes tomorrow. Michelle Wisbey, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanian authorities are continuing to investigate a local case of contaminated strawberries. Investigators say they're waiting on forensic examination results from an alleged needle contamination at Rosny on the weekend.
My advice to all Tasmanians is that if you eat fresh strawberries, it's important that you cut them up before eating.
Anyone who encounters a spiked strawberry is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. The long-running Macquarie Point saga has cleared a hurdle, with plans today announced for its sewerage plant to be moved from the area. The Treasurer says the move will unlock the possibility for significant development on the site.
This is a site that's causing a headache for developers. Macquarie Point is on a prime location on Hobart's waterfront.
This site, which is without doubt one of the best development sites in the country.
But any major vision for the site has been continuously shut down due to this wastewater treatment plant. Plans today announced for it to go and for the development process to begin.
Attract the hundreds of millions of dollars worth of investment that we believe will flow into this site with the changes that we're making.
Taswater says the design work has been completed, with most waste set to go to the Selfs Point plant.
Now it will be the detailed planning work will have to be undertaken and then the project in its various elements put out to tender.
The decommissioning is expected to take around 4 years and cost $140 million, which the government would contribute to.
In reality, certainty was needed, and we now have certainty and can build this into our program.
The government and Taswater signed a memorandum of understanding this year, with the government promising to provide $200 million to become a shareholder. If the 29 owner councils vote yes to the MOU, then this and similar developments across Tasmania could go ahead.
We will provide additional funding over and above the $200 million to deal with projects like this of special economic or environmental significance.
The Hobart City Council is the ultimate arbiter to changes on the site. Louise HEDGER, Southern Cross News.
The government's plan to scrap prison remissions is one step closer to becoming law after it passed through the lower house today. The government's proposed changes mean prisoners could no longer be released up to 3 months early as a reward for good behaviour. Both Labor and the Greens oppose the laws, but the government is remaining committed to its controversial tough on crime agenda.
We as a government and I as the Minister want to ensure the safety of the community, and will always do everything we can to protect Tasmanians and keep them safe.
The bill will now be debated by the Legislative Council. With up to 330 Tasmanians dying from a cardiac arrest every year, community groups are being urged to take on a life-saving device. Authorities are rolling out 180 defibrillators statewide over the next 2 years in the hopes of improving survival chances.
This small box can mean the difference between life or death for someone experiencing a cardiac arrest.
We have a 7 to 10% decrease in survivability for every minute that goes past, and that's why community defibrillators are of crucial importance.
They cost thousands of dollars to buy, but now authorities are rolling out 180 of the machines to Tasmanian communities over the next 2 years. Organisations and not-for-profits are urged to apply for one online.
Hopefully people are actually thinking about where they might have them in their clubs or where there's people around and where they can be publicly available.
They're relatively easy to use, with a voice prompter guiding the process.
Begin by removing all. They won't allow you to deliver a shock when it's not indicated, and people should not be afraid to pick up one of these devices and have a go. You just might save someone's life.
Always call an ambulance before treating a patient. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
He's chopped in front of the nation's best. Now a young Tasmanian axeman is taking on the world. From a small shed in Sheffield, Josh Bakes is honing a craft which he hopes will lead to a career carving wood.
Josh Bakes blasts through these blocks like butter. His powerful swing has made him Tasmania's newest national timber sports champion.
I'm a fourth generation axeman, so I've just always followed my dad. I remember my first competition when I was about 10 years old.
Bakes edged out fellow Tasmanian Daniel Beams in front of 10,000 people on the Gold Coast to win Timber Sports Rookie Championship. He'll travel to England next month to take on the kings of the wood chopping world.
Getting to this next level, you don't know what's going to happen next, so hopefully I get the win and it takes me further.
A local footballer and cricketer on the side, the 20-year-old is slowly perfecting his splitting skills, and he's spurred on by a healthy rivalry between the local axemen who all want to be a cut above.
Yeah, it gets pretty heated, but we're all still mates. Like the 4 past championships, of 3 of them have been Tasmanians that won it.
And chopping under timber sport's brightest lights in England is nothing short of a dream come true.
Up in here, you stuff up, no one's watching me, it doesn't matter. You get up there, you got to perform, you got to be at your best.
So you like the big stage?
Yeah, it definitely gets you going a bit better.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
And now look at the day's business and finance news. With thanks to TasPlan, your local super fund, Australian shares have closed lower after US President Donald Trump announced the imposition of additional trade tariffs on China. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 23.5 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 72 US cents and 109 New Zealand cents.
Back home, and while the celebrations continue for back-to-back TSL premiers North Launceston, one bomber is set for a stint on the sidelines in 2019. Beau Sharman was offered a 3-match suspension by the MRP with early guilty plea for this strike on Lauderdale skipper Bryce Walsh. But the club has rejected the offer, with the matter to be heard by the Independent Tribunal tomorrow night. It will also assess Zach Webster's case, with the Glenorchy star facing several weeks suspension thanks to this strike on Lauderdale's Jacob Gilby. Tasmanian-born Aussie cricket legend Ricky Ponting has thrown his support behind Aaron Finch as Australia's next Test opener. Ponting wants to see Finch used against the new ball in the upcoming Test series against Pakistan.
I know his red ball numbers aren't outstanding. Well, he's been in really good form in other formats of the game all around the world for the last few years.
Ponting also says Mitch Marsh should be installed as Australia's new vice-captain. Former New South Wales fast bowler Gurinder Sandhu is set to make his Tasmanian Tigers debut sooner than expected, with James Faulkner ruled out of the side's upcoming JLT One-Day Cup matches. The Tasmanian all-rounder was injured while playing in the T20 Blast semi-final in the UK over the weekend and is expected to return to Hobart later this week for further tests. The Tigers take on Victoria in Townsville tomorrow morning. Launceston basketballer Chris Goulding has made his return for the Boomers after being suspended in the wake of an out-of-control brawl against the Philippines. Goulding shot 7 points in the huge 94-41 points win over Kazakhstan. The Aussies are now just one win away from sealing a spot in the 2019 FIBA World Cup. One of Tasmania's most exciting motorsport prospects is looking to make history. Fresh from a podium finish in the Formula V series, Wade McLean will try to become the first driver to hold national titles in both the 1200 and 1600 cc classes.
Not only does Wade McLean set a lightning pace on the course, his career is speeding along as well. The Devonport driver recently finished second in the Formula V 1600 series in his first season.
It's a massive step up. 1600s are probably more widely known within Australia for if you're competitive there, you're going to go reasonably well in the next step up.
McLean graduated to the 1600s after sweeping the smaller 1200s in years prior.
You make one mistake, you can go from 1st to 10th quite easily. So, yeah, probably the cutthroat and sort of the competitiveness of the class was a lot more than what the 12s were.
There were rough patches in the 4-round series. After positive results at Eastern Creek and Queensland's Lakeside, McLean blew 2 engines at Tailem Bend, forcing the 21-year-old to travel to Barbagallo in Western Australia to wrap up the series podium. Now McLean's eyeing off a bigger prize. He'll try to become the first driver to do the double by winning the national title in both the 1200 and 1600 classes at November's championships.
Once you've sort of proved yourself there, then the doors start to open to other places.
Success there would help secure more sponsorship dollars and ultimately a better shot at the big time.
There's like a lot of kids like me out there that haven't got the dollars to sort of push them into where they need to be initially, so they need the backing of either a sponsor or someone to pick them up, and that's what we're trying to aim for with my racing.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Good evening. 23 at Friendly Beaches, the warmest today. Hobart reached 21, Launceston and Devonport 16, Burnie 15 degrees. Some temperatures up to 6 above average today, mainly in the east. However, we did have some showers and thunderstorms over the west, and gradually a shower or two moved across the state. Flinders Island and Grove 20, Ouse 19, St Helens 18, Strawn and Smithton 16 today, Low Head and King Island 15. Extensive cloud over the majority of Tasmania. The central east, of course, missed most of that heavy cover. That same frontal band affected Western Victoria as well. There is some low cloud over southern Western Australia and also South Australia. Tomorrow a high moves over WA as a broad low pressure trough extends across the tropics and through central Queensland to join a front off the coast. Now the west to northwesterlies will shift west-southwesterly tomorrow morning at 15 to 25 knots, winds to 15 knots inland. So this is why it's going to be. Tomorrow a shower or two for Hobart, 13, 12 the top for Geeston with a shower as well. A cool day for Bothwell too with a shower moving in, but clearing. A shower or two clearing from Launceston, 15 the top, 15 also for Devonport, a partly cloudy day, and Cressy 14 degrees. Burnie partly cloudy and 15, a shower or two for Strawn 12 and 13 for Curry on King Island. St Helens tomorrow showery and 14. A shower or two developing for Swansea with 14 as well, 14 the top two for Orford. On Thursday, fine apart from showers over the west and far south, some early highland snow and a frost patch or two. Showers over the west and far south on Friday, otherwise fine with fresh western or westerly winds. And on Saturday, light showers extending statewide during the late early morning before contracting to the west and far south by evening. Sunny in Perth tomorrow along with Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane. Showers forecast for Adelaide and Melbourne. Current conditions clear over Hobart, 10 degrees, a little cloudy over Launceston, 11, mostly cloudy over Devonport and 11 degrees as well. I'm off to sort out that little whippersnapper Tom Cooper, Joe. He needs to learn the meaning of the word respect.
Good luck. Thanks very much. All right, that's all from the team for now. Have a lovely evening. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.